What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Paul Goneau. Today, my guest is improviser, writer, actor, and comedian, Shaharah Gaznabbi.
Hello, how are you?
I am so good. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you. I was so honored when you asked me to do this.
Oh, you don't have to feel honored, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Thank you so much, yeah.
Yeah, and it's convenient that you live super close. Like, you're the first guest I think I've had that has actually just walked.
Oh, yeah. It was like a 15-minute walk. We were next door neighbors, basically.
Yeah, and it's sweet.
Yeah.
And I feel, it was weird because when I moved to this area, I was kind of closer to square one before.
Gotcha.
And when I moved to this area, I kind of felt like it would be harder for a lot of people to get to this place just because it's a little further. Like, it's like borderline. Like, what's there, Milton?
Is
it Milton?
You could use a Milton Go, or you can go to Meadowvale, but then you need a bit of a walk.
Yeah, it's further from Toronto, I feel like.
Yeah. I think it's like a 2 hour or 1 hour and a half bus, just to get into Toronto.
Yeah.
If that's the way you're doing it.
But honestly, I get there faster now. Because it's a little more expensive because I'm taking the Go.
Yeah.
Because I don't drive. But I used to just take, My Way and then TTC before. Okay. Down to Kipling and then take the subway. And it was just, it was brutal. It took long. It was cheaper, but it took way too long.
I understand. When the Go buses were on strike, I had to do that because I was taking second city classes at the time, so I had to do that commute, and that was brutal. I took the Go all the time because I don't drive either, because I'm a scaredy cat.
You're scared of driving?
I'm scared of driving. I have
it's a little scary.
It is.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, but my brother is young. I'm a middle kid. My sister's older. My brother is younger, and they're both very brave drivers, and I'm the scared, anxious, twiggy one that's okay, I'm just gonna let the driving happen if it ever happens.
So you don't have your license yet?
I have my G2, funny enough.
Oh, you do?
And then I stopped. I got my G2 and I was like, that's good. And it's going to expire soon, so I should get on it a bit, yeah.
I just got, for the second time, my G1.
Hey, congrats.
Earlier this year? I'm pretty sure it was early this year, or maybe late last year. I don't know. But just in preparation for the baby, because I don't want to really be taking the baby on the bus. So hopefully by, September, October, no more buses.
Yeah,
so
good for you.
That'll be nice. But it is a little scary, to be honest, because now it's I don't know. And I'm used to being the guy who's just in the passenger seat. There's some sort of, there's no stress when I'm going from A to B because I'm never the guy, driving.
Yeah.
And it changes a lot. Have you been on highways? That's the thing that scares me the most.
I've been on a highway with a driving instructor, but never just by myself. Have you worked with a driving instructor? Are you gonna plan to?
No, I haven't. I feel pretty confident driving. I'm not I'm a decent driver, and I tend to know the rules. I had it before, and used to go to when I went to BC before, my family would just let me drive around myself.
Sweet,
because they just saw the license and they weren't really fully aware of what a G1 and G2 were.
They're like, oh, that's a full license.
The car?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, that's basically what their mindset was. And,
Absolutely.
So I have a little experience.
Did your family drive a big car or a small car? Because my family drives these big Dodge cars.
Okay.
And I think that because I'm 4 feet 11 inches, so when I drive a big car, I feel like I'm driving a monster truck. So that's maybe where some nerves come in as well.
The one that I drove the most, I would say, it was just small sedan 4-door, but it was a Mercury Topaz for anyone that actually knows cars. I think it was probably a 93 or 94 Mercury Topaz. It's not a fancy car. It was my Nana's car. Mm-hmm.
It seems like a new Marvel superhero coming out. One of those new ones that we've never heard of.
Adventures of Mercury Topaz. Yo. No, but it's going to be good to be driving. And I was kind of where you were before when I got my original, when I got my G1 the first time. It was just I didn't really have means to get a car, and I was kind of a little nervous, and just kind of fizzled out. But now I can't do it.
Yeah, were you a nervous kid, growing up, kind of thing, or?
Yeah, it's weird because now I'm a performer.
Yeah, isn't that weird how that happens? It's
the
anxiety child to performer pipeline that happens. And...
It's weird. I liked being funny. It was weird because I was the class clown, and I enjoyed making people laugh. But I hated going in front of the class and doing presentations. I was the guy who was always holding my paper and swaying from side to side and just like twitching
no eye
and stuff
contact,
like that.
just like head. Yeah, I completely understand.
So I don't exactly. At the same time when I was doing that, I was also like in bands in like middle school.
Okay.
Where I like sung and did like
Good for you.
talent shows and things like that. So it was always like this weird thing of. But I'm the kind of guy where it's like, I don't know. We can talk about like what your fears are in a second. But I was like. I was always the kind of person that liked just facing my fears. If it's something that kind of like made me nervous, it was weird, but I always kind of like gravitated towards that to try to kind of just not. I don't like being uncomfortable.
I completely get it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to do whatever I can.
It's a very human thing. I don't know if you'd even find somebody who likes to be uncomfortable, right? I guess unless it's in challenging ways, like I don't know, a roller coaster, and like. Stand-up feels like a roller coaster. Sometimes I'm, like, about to go on, and I'm like, why did I choose this? I'm like, was this really the best choice? But I really like something about that adrenaline, and if you actually do, like, really hit it, it's very satisfying. You know what I mean?
So why did you choose stand-up?
It's weird, because for me, I like doing comedy in general, and I do improv. I think that I started doing improv, and that was during the pandemic. And then that kind of turned into me, like, you know, writing stand-up jokes, because sometimes we improvise, like, one-lines, and I'm like, oh, I really actually like this sort of thing. And then the first time I did stand-up was funny enough, I go to York University, and we do this theater festival. It's a student-run festival called Playground. And just the first year that I was at York, they happened to have a disabled stand-up. And I have Tourettes, I have OCD, like ADHD, stuff like that. So I applied, and I was the only stand-up that they hired, because I had, like, written jokes about, like, having Tourettes before. So that was what that was about. And that was a Zoom show. So that was the only Zoom show I did, and it was, like, when I actually finally got to perform on an actual stage, I was like, oh, wow, people are actually laughing back at me. Like, it's quite nice. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I never did the Zoom thing, but it's
good.
kind of like a little bit like because you need the feedback. I felt, you know, and I just honestly in my mind I was like, I don't want to waste. I'm like trying to like build up material so like when stuff comes back, like I'm not just. And obviously there's jokes that are classics for me, and I try like.
Oh yeah.
It's hard for me to like completely ditch a joke. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I
have problems,
get it.
but
and if you know if you know it works, that's kind of like the hard thing, because you're like, okay, I know that the audience will get this one, and I could tell it really well. And I think like Martha Chavez, who's like a comedian in Toronto, she was like, sandwich your new jokes between the jokes that you know work.
Yeah.
And that's how you like build your new material. And I was like, oh, that's a very smart thing to do. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do slowly but surely. But it's so hard to like let go of those really like old reliable ones.
Yeah, the ones that like hit every time. It's rough. I have like but one that I've been doing for a really long time, and it's my opener, and it's just like it's just to kind of break the ice, and I really love it when I host, because it gets everyone kind of like out of their comfort zone like immediately, and it's like, raise your hand if you look at the toilet paper after you wipe your ass.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say for now. It has like, you know, kind of
I'm not gonna give away too much.
Yeah, if you've seen me perform, if you're watching this podcast, most likely you've seen me perform, so you know it, because I've been doing it for like 3 years.
Yeah.
But like, I try to open with other things, and it's like rarely as good.
It's because openers are so hard. Like openers, I've been using the same opener because it gets people to know me. Lately, what I've been doing is like, as I'm moving the mic stand to the side, I like say something like, "Oh, this is like Prince Charles. I want it to leave," or something like that. Usually that's like the thing that I do before opener. I'm trying new things. Like, I think that I'm in a cool period where I'm like, okay, trying to figure out what my comedic voice in that way is. And then doing new things like that with it. It was interesting seeing you differently as a performer and then as a host. And I was like, oh, this is Paul with your like host hat.
Yeah? Is it different?
It's interesting because you got to do more with it. In my opinion, I don't know what it was. You just got like, it was like you got to do more. That's what it felt like. I
definitely am starting to enjoy hosting. Hosting for me used to be like what you were saying, where like almost every show, I'd feel like I was gonna shit my pants. and it would be like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, someone wasn't there. Like, everything is just so anxiety-inducing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And everybody's coming to you probably and texting
and I was
you.
like, why did I decide to do this, you know? And even still, like, I definitely enjoy more of the performing rather than the producing.
Yeah.
But also the producing provides me with hosting, and I get to kind of... That also, hosting helps me just work on shit because...
Oh, completely.
You know, you just kind of run out of... I don't want to say run out of material, but things also happen throughout the show, and then you might comment on that. And
I was going to ask, like, if a comedian, like, talks about this, like, does that kind of help you, like, build jokes based on that kind of on the fly, and then just, like, a quick, like, oh, like, referring to that comedian said.
Yeah, and even something that happens, what I've been doing, and it takes up a lot of gigabytes, so I don't know, you know, record as much as you can, but I've been recording, like, whole shows, because, like, some of the funniest moments I find when I'm, like, when the show's done, and I'm, like, on my way home, and I'm just going over, you know, the night in my head, are, like, the ones that are just, like, heat of the moment kind of things, the improvised spots, if you will, you know? And so I really just wanted to start capturing it, and, you know, couple terabytes later, here I am. But I have built material, like actually written stuff based on stuff that has happened, you know, with audience members and things like that.
And is that like crowd work that you've done? Like after like listening to like USBs of like stored things that you've had? Like is that mostly crowd work that you're pulling from, or is it like something happens in the audience and you comment on that?
I feel like it's mostly crowd work, but there's also times where maybe I'll have someone say something at the end of a punchline and it makes me think of something else, like a nice tag that I never would have come up with if they didn't say that.
Of course.
And then I'll add that. That'll be part of the joke from then on.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. But mostly I feel like it's crowd work.
Okay, cool. Are you afraid of crowd? Because I'm like so afraid of crowd work.
I feel like you'd be so good. You're such a naturally... Like, you're a warm person, you know?
Thank you.
I feel like...
I'm going to draw them in and just knife them. No.
That would be... That's the thing. It's like...
That's the goal,
And that's
though,
what I
right?
love about your comedy, too, is, like, you don't look like the kind of person... And I just love that in general. Anyone who's just like, you know, kind of... For lack of a better term, like, don't box me in, kind of. And you definitely... don't look like the kind of person that would have the material that you do, and that's why I love it.
Interesting.
You know?
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. It's definitely a good thing. I'm not trying to offend you.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm glad that you see me as a person, period. So, yes.
And you, honestly, like, one of the nicest people I've met while doing comedy.
So are you. The fact, like, and when I say, like, I'm honored that you asked me to, like, genuinely, like, I'm always afraid that people are, like, afraid of me just because I'm young. So, like, I don't know if, like, they're afraid of, like, saying the wrong thing or, like, being weird towards me kind of thing. But I like when people, like, either make fun of me. Like, I've had one person, like, be like, yeah, Shaharah's short, and I'm the opposite. I'm very tall. And I was like, oh, I respect that. Like, people who aren't afraid to, like, give it to me a little bit in their sets. Like, I like that a lot.
Yeah. I like that, too. And that's kind of actually, like, where I work. I work in a kitchen. Mm-hmm. And,
I like gasped when I knew where you worked. I was like, that's so close.
Wait, you do know where I work?
You told me before. I don't know if you want to say it here.
Oh, okay. Chop?
Yeah, Chop, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one right near like Medeville Go? That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We pass it all the time. My brother has some friends who work there too. I don't know their names, but.
But I don't know if you. Do you have a 9-to-5 right now?
No, I'm a student, so I'm a York student, and I have
right. You go full time to York.
Yeah, well,
Shoot, what are you taking at York?
I'm studying theater, so I'm streaming.
You got everything going on.
I'm trying to, and I think it's a weird thing that like I feel like and maybe it's like a 20-year-old mentality, which I'm 20, where I need to like put my eggs in kind of a lot of baskets just in case like one doesn't work out, and I don't know if that's like me trying to compensate. But I also really like kind of doing it all because they all kind of go into each other as well. Yeah. So, yeah, but theater is like, was one of my first loves, so that's like why and if it wasn't for theater, I probably wouldn't be doing like the stand-up performing and the stuff and trying to build that into theater. Okay. Yeah. It's also weird because people in theater don't see comedy the same. And when I've gotten notes
How do they view comedy?
Well, I mean, think of the Oscars. Like, you will rarely see a comedic movie be nominated for an Oscar,
Gotcha.
right? Because it's not serious. And some people think that comedy is too much and it doesn't allow you to feel, but I think sometimes you can do comedy in a way that, like, you make the audience laugh. I think that, do you know who Phoebe Waller-Bridge is? She wrote Fleabag.
I do, and I love that show!
She
has another show, too. I think it's called Crashing or something like that.
I've never heard of it.
Oh my god,
I'm
okay, so
it's
like just a bunch of people that, like, live in an abandoned hospital. Mm-hmm. It's just the weirdest. It only had, like, one season, but she's amazing. She's great.
Fantastic. There's something so, like, minute and so, like, effective about her acting, and she's hilarious. And did you see her host SNL? I think her like monologue. I didn't see her host it, but I watched her monologue recently, and it's very, very good. It's a little like you could tell she's a little nervous, which I like in a monologue for SNL, and it's like very honest. She in the prologue to her Fleabag, which is like her one woman show that became Fleabag. She writes. It was a very like poetic way of putting it, where when people laugh, they open their mouths. So then you kind of like go in through their mouths into like their soul, and then from there you can like really twist things. It's interesting. So like when you make somebody laugh, and then you twist the knife a little bit in a like a kind of dark way, you're like, oh, like I was just laughing, but now I feel something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that could be any emotion, right?
Fleabag should have got more seasons though.
I got 2.
I know.
Effective television in 12 episodes, 30 minutes each. That's it. Because it was 6 and 6. That was it. In 30 minutes each.
What does she got going on now? She needs to come out with something new. But
she's doing the new Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow.
Are you an Indiana Jones fan?
No.
No, I'm not.
Maybe I should get into it, but I don't know.
I don't know. Doesn't say. Well, you know, I don't know all the things you're into, but it's definitely not my bag. And it always seems weird when they... Like, how are they still doing these movies?
Well, how are they still doing something like Fast and Furious?
Fast and Furious, that's what I was going to, too, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that will never die. Like, there'll be, like, cockroaches left on Earth, and it's gonna be, like, them making Fast and Furious, like, 57 or something.
It's too much. People be like, yo, the 9th one, though? Amazing. And
really?
I'm like, I don't know. I saw the first 3. Mm-hmm. And the third one was like... The first one was decent. Yeah. I thought it was alright. Mm-hmm. Second one was okay. Third one wasn't good at all, I didn't think. And I kind of lost interest after that. And, like, still have people, like, every time one comes out, like, yo, best one yet, man.
No way.
Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I just don't think in history... And you can argue now, because of the Marvel movies, but they're a little different, that, like, a Part 9... is the best one of the series. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I generally feel like as it goes on, but you're in theater, how do you feel about this? Like,
okay.
Like, do you think that stories just kind of get kind of watered down throughout? Like what's the best movie series that goes past, like, 3, really?
Shrek.
Shrek, eh? Okay.
I honestly think it's Shrek. And I think that it's an interesting... Okay, number 1, Shrek, 2, is one of the best sequels to any animated... And my best friend will say the same thing. Like, we just have this knowledge that, like, Shrek was a fantastic movie when it came out. And then the second movie just, like really... I don't know. And then as it goes on, you have more, like, capabilities with, like, CGI and all that stuff. In Puss in Boots, even, which is just, like, a branch off of Shrek... did really well, and people were, like, unironically saying that it was a really, really good movie.
Yeah. The new one.
I didn't watch it, but...
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things.
I've heard really good things, like, people, like, almost, like, crying during it, and I'm like, that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
And, like, you could call it, like, a branch, even, like, Shrek, like, I know there's a 3rd, there's a 4th, and apparently they're making, like, a whole other one as well, like, with Mike Myers now.
Okay.
I think I heard that. I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting. And I wonder if it'll be good, because it's also, like, with these reboots, you're trying to get nostalgia, but also that feeling that you used to have, but it's, like, a feeling that you can't really emanate. And it's like, okay, with an adaptation, what are you really trying to go for? Are we trying to, like, pull themes? Like, even, like, for example, even with, like, She's the Man, which is, like, an adaptation, Amanda Bynes? Amanda Bynes,
I have that movie.
You do have
it? It's somewhere on one of the... Yeah, 100%. I have that movie. Channing Tatum and her and like it's like they're soccer players. I know the movie 100%.
And it's an adaptation of like I was gonna say Midsummer. It's not. It's Twelfth Night.
I didn't even know that.
Which is a Shakespeare play, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like she's playing Viola necessarily, which is a character who like cross-dresses in the play.
Mm-hmm.
But she's playing like a different character with a different name and kind of that same kind of theme. And it's interesting that like, okay, when we're remaking something, like recently a TV show that they brought back, rebooted, was League of Their Own,
mm-hmm.
Which was a movie with like Madonna and Gina Davis and Rosie O'Donnell back. I don't even know if it's the 80s or this. Like it's, I think
back
it's the 80s.
back
when.
Yeah.
You know, a date. Like I'm good with dates, but I'm not good with the year dates, which is sad. And then they brought it back and did a completely queer retelling of the story. And it was in my opinion, one of the best ways to reboot something. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
It's good. I have like, and I'm kind of a guy, I don't really believe in guilty pleasures. But I do like corny and cheesy kind of things, like a lot of the time. If it's
do
like...
you have one of those? Because my guilty pleasure, but I don't, like I say, it's my not guilty pleasure, because I'm not guilty about it, is Sex and the City.
Okay.
I adore Sex and the City. Yeah. But do you have like one of those? Like things that you're, like, it should be a guilty pleasure, but you're just not guilty about it?
I'm so like hardwired, where like everything I like, I just feel like people should own everything they like. I can't really say I have a guilty pleasure. There's things that people criticize me for, like liking Limp Bizkit, or like, you know, Bones isn't necessarily like
it's a great
the hottest show, but I find like comfort in sometimes I just don't want to think too much, and it provides me just enough new stuff and just enough things I'm familiar with that it's like, it's just an easy watch, and I like that.
And you think that you could be like an archaeologist kind of, or whatever it is that they do. And it's also Zooey Deschanel's sister.
Yeah.
Is it Emily Deschanel?
Yeah, it is,
Yeah. Which is like, it's just a good show overall.
Yeah, my lady got me into that.
Nice. It's a good show to get into.
You are a Doctor Who fan.
Yes.
Do you like a lot of British stuff?
I do.
Have you ever seen Downton Abbey?
I've like seen some. I'm not like an avid watcher, and I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Okay.
But I'm like, I just like know that they're very like very high British accents or whatever like it is, right?
Yeah, it's very. I just went through the whole series.
No way.
Yeah, because it was like a Christmas present for.
Was it a disc set?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got her the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it with you, because for our whole relationship, I've been like, I'm not watching. It's one of her favorite shows. Mm-hmm. And I ended up watching it. It's all right. I was just curious. No one I've talked to has ever seen it. I'm like, it's not amazing though. I don't blame anybody for not. If I was rating it out of 10, maybe
that has also gone on for many seasons, hasn't it?
5. It's over now, but towards the end, it was also, you know, it happens with shows too. That's why I'm not like mad when shows are like, oh, you know what? Have you seen Afterlife?
No.
With Ricky Gervais?
No, I haven't.
Just an amazing series. It's also, it's British.
A lot of British shows go for like 3 series, and then each series is like 3 episodes. Like Sherlock, for example, is like very, very like, and then it's done. But it's a really good show.
I like that, where there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end.
Yeah.
And like you get the proper send-off. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes shows just go on and they're like, well, we could end it, but we could also fill it with a bunch of stuff that's not as good as the original content. I don't know, and it's just like, it just becomes more about money. I like that some shows just end.
What do you think? Yes, cuz.
No, I was just going to say, because like, you ever watch a show that you're really into, and it's like, oh wait, they're not getting a season 4. Mm-hmm. They don't, and it's like sometimes, you know that was, they were just planning on doing one more season, and then the show gets canceled, and it's such an unsatisfying feeling.
Yeah, when a show gets canceled, that's like the worst feeling, because you don't, like the same thing, you don't get to say goodbye to the characters, you don't get to like have those satisfying like ending, don't get to tie those knots, that like when you know like, okay, this is our 4th and final, we're gonna get to do that, like it's interesting in that way. Like I think The Good Place was that way, where it was like, which I could have watched, because it was the same creators as like The Office. It was Mike Schur's show, so like The Office and Parks and Recreation and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this show could go on for 7 seasons and I'd love it. And then when they said that, it was like that weird time when we were moving towards what it is now, where it's like shows are either getting canceled after the 1st season or it's only getting like 3 or 4. That I was like, oh shoot, The Good Place is ending. But after watching it, I was like, you know what, that's a good ending. It's a good spot for them to just like leave it, you know?
That was a good show too.
It was like, I think it's one of my second favorite shows in the world. Like, it's so good. Got me into philosophy a lot too. Deeper thinking, existentialism, I don't know. It is either good or bad.
Have you seen like any plays since things have opened up?
Yes, I have, and I'm lucky that I have. There are like 2 different ways you can watch theater in Toronto, where you can go to like the big Mervis shows, which are the very big expensive ones.
Yeah.
Or you can go to like the publicly funded theaters, so that's like Tarragon or Factory Theater.
Was Lower Ossington like because that's gone now?
I think that one's not there.
Was it a publicly funded one, or because it was like a smaller?
Did it have a name? I can't quite remember.
I don't know. I think it was just Lower Ossington Theater. I saw Anne of Green Gables there.
Ooh, okay.
It was like oh my god, it's just I love kind of, and I do like the big productions, but I also there's something I really like about, and it's just anything I really like.
Yeah.
I love the intimacy of like smaller theater shows or wrestling shows or even like comedy shows, you know, to a degree. Obviously, you got like a packed house of 200 people. That's an amazing feeling too, but like I don't even think I would do Lafiteria in a bigger room if I could.
I love this, like Lafiteria felt like such a warm show to do, and just the way that SoCap, that like upper level bounces sound, that it like there was a lot of people there and it felt like a full kind of audience, so the laughs felt really nice when you got them. That's my opinion of that, because I completely agree. Yeah. And for Tarragon, like, I could be wrong. I think it seats about, like, 150 to 200, but I could be wrong. Nice. So it's not, like, the biggest, but it's also nice that it feels intimate enough. Maybe 200 is a little too much. But it's not like Mervish where it's, like hundreds of seats.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you get, like, the difference in production, right? Like, if you're expecting, like fireworks and pyrotechnics or like big dance numbers, you're not going to really get that at a Tarragon show, but you'll get it at a Mervis show. But if you want like really nice, like warm theater writing and like nice acting and something that feels like really succinct, then that's where you'd go to like Tarragon, for example. Or
what did you take at Second City? Was it stand-up or improv?
I never took stand-up.
Okay.
Like the only like way that I got any a stand-up like training was through Vong, if you know Vong's show. When I did his show Fresh, and he sat with me for like an hour like talking about my set that I had done, so that was the only like training I did. But for Second City, I did acting 1 and 2, I did improv 1 through 5, and then I did the conservatory program, so all 6 terms of that.
Wow.
So I graduated the conservatory program.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Sounds like a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Worth it though?
It was really good training. It looks really good. And a lot of, like, because I'm an actor, it looks really good. And people are like, oh, you have comedic chops. It's great. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally great. So now I'm just like, okay, how do I apply it in a way that, like, makes it worth it, right? Which why I'm glad that I'm, like, actually performing. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you do with it now that you have it? It's like, oh, there's a lot of avenues.
You got a lot of time to figure it out.
Thanks for saying that.
You're only 20. Do you have any, like, nervous tics that you do? You say you were talking about, like, you know, I wouldn't say not wanting to perform, but, like, you know, when you're about to go on stage, like, why did I choose this?
Yeah.
You know, do you do anything to, like maybe, like, chew your nails or, like, bite your cheek or, I don't know. I have a thing where I kind of chew the skin around my nails.
Interesting. Like, like
horrible.
this guy? Yeah.
Yeah. You have anything like that?
For me, well, I have, like, Tourette's, so, like, it's funny when people say nervous tics, I'm like, well, I, like, tick, like, physically, like have short movements constantly, or like, at least when I'm talking with somebody, or, like, when I'm in a focus environment, it's less, which is nice. It used to be way worse than it is now. One weird thing is that I usually get really cold before performances, so, like, I'll wear, like, a sweater or something, and I'm like, oh, it's probably just because, like, you know, it's, like, cold in here, but it's, like, a little bit of nerves as well. Probably blood going to, like, different places that it should be.
Yeah.
So I just get really cold.
Okay.
And I always have to, like, stretch my mouth, which is, like maybe a theater thing, but also just, like, do my... I always go, like, unique New York. New York,
yeah.
Like,
red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, I know how to form words in my mouth. Okay, we're just going to remind ourselves of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew the unique New York thing.
Apparently that one's hard for Canadians.
Does it actually, like, help?
I think like doing some like stretches in your mouth help because I like in our talk like I get like a little bit like muddled sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I trip over my words.
All right.
Yeah, and with comedy it's so weird because when you mess up, when you trip over your words, sometimes jokes are set up in such a precise way that when you like fumble, sometimes it can be like, oh shoot. But then again, I'm like 20, so I'm like, of course I'm gonna mess up and it's gonna be terrible and they're not gonna forgive me. But I'm like, okay, it's fine. Yeah. If it's the punchline though, and I mess up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Actually, it's funny. The last Laughateria show that I did, I said a joke completely wrong. And like I said, I was like watching the whole show back, and like said a joke completely wrong, and it still got like a reaction. Like I feel like they still understood what I was trying to say.
Okay.
And I didn't like acknowledge it. In all honesty, I didn't even realize I said it wrong until I watched it back.
Gotcha.
You know, just like completely in the zone, just didn't notice, and I was like, wait, but they still laughed. Like no one said anything, but my lady just kind of. She's really good with helping me after shows. She hasn't come
She's lovely. When I did Laughateria, it's nice to have her around. Like, she was taking photos and...
Yeah, and she just... Because a lot of the times, in situations like you were just describing, like, I get off stage and I'm like... Especially if it's, like, at the beginning. Like, one of my shows at the beginning. And I'm like, all right, I have a couple comedians, like, to fill in some jokes where I feel like I can, like, make up for the room I just lost. Yeah. But man, when you get in those, what am I trying to say here? When you get kind of flustered.
Yeah.
It was harder for me to kind of get out of that. I find it's getting easier.
Good.
I feel like, honestly, you just kind of gotta move on. There's no...
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's always gonna happen.
Does it feel like a live to die another day kind of feeling? Like...
Yeah, and it's like... did you watch the Chris Rock thing recently?
The new one. I've seen clips of it, but not like, the full thing.
I haven't seen the full thing either.
Yeah.
But I heard that, like, his whole, like, build-up was the closer talking about, you know, the Will Smith thing. Mm-hmm. And then he, like, messed up, like... You know, his punchline to his last joke on, like, the very first live Netflix. It was kind of, like, this big deal to, like, all the people, and it's just, like, I don't know, man. It's not going to do anything to his career. Like, it just happens. Yeah. And when I see it happen to someone like Chris Rock, it makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's nice to see, like, the big people kind of mess up in that way. And you're like, okay, it's fine. Like, people... Even, like, when I said, like, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was a little bit nervous during her SNL monologue, and I'm like... That's very good.
Do you think it's like she had almost
it's
like...
not just her too, like even
it might
like...
be intentional almost with her. I feel like it's a little bit...
Because that's her appeal. The quirky, yeah, right?
Yeah. No one knows who she... I'm so happy you knew she was.
I love her so much. And like even like... for me, I just like realistic people. Like think of it, SNL is a very kind of big deal. And it's like millions of people around... Well, at least like North America that are watching it. Because it's like US and Canada. And I'm not sure if Mexicans look at it, but still. Yeah.
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
I kind of... I don't know. There was an era of Saturday Night Live that I really liked.
Which era?
And we'll get into this later with the Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, but like that era, like, you know, like Will Ferrell and just
that's like
Tina
90s.
Fey and late 90s, maybe
Molly
even,
Shannon.
100%. Chris Farley even was...
Farley.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of... That's when I really like Saturday Night Live. And now it's kind of... It's something I only really watch when there's hosts that I like on it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one I'll check out, though.
Yeah, you should. Totally should. I liked Quinta Brunson's episode recently as well. That was like just recently that she did it, and it was like a good episode, and yeah.
All right, I can't remember. I'm trying to think of like the last one that I watched.
Yeah. She's also really small, and I'm also really small. It's always nice to see, like, small... And we'll go into it when we're talking about, like, our favorite comedians, but, like, I like looking up to, like, people who are, like, physically small, because so many of the comedians are, like, in Toronto, or, like, the people that I did, like, Second City with are, like, these huge guys, and I'm like, oh my god. Which is, like, totally, like, not an issue. I'm just like, oh, I'm always gonna blend into the background compared to them. But then I'm like, okay, well, if Amy Poehler and, like, Rachel Dratch or these, like, little women, like, are able to, like, be powerhouses, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, it makes me feel a little better.
Do you want to get into the top 5?
Do you feel like it's a good time to?
I feel like we're talking about it.
Okay.
Do you want to do the Tina Fey and Amy Poehler stuff?
Sure. So for this, I went like, okay, what are my favorite things Amy has done, Tina has done, and then like things that may have done together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, I didn't keep it exclusively to like TV either.
Okay.
But for this first one, I put Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Parks and Recreation is my favorite show. I know you love it.
Was she on it? I do love it.
Amy Poehler was.
No, okay, but Tina Fey?
Tina Fey never did any Parks and Rec. But
no, she didn't have a cameo ever?
No, but Amy Poehler had one in 30 Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen 30 Rock.
I just finished all of it.
Yeah, it's good?
If you have Crave, it's on Crave.
I do have Crave.
Okay,
yeah.
It's on Crave. It's good. And for me, I like Parks and Recreation.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite show, and I think even more for me, controversial, but it trumps The Office a little bit.
100%.
And I think it's
100%.
because for me, it's because it's grounded in wholesome kindness, and that's where the humor comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And not malicious comedy isn't bad, and it's not like The Office is malicious, but I think I like the way that Parks and Rec frames it.
I love Ben Schwartz and Jenny Slate in it.
I
can't remember the characters' names right now.
It's so funny because you say that. I've listened to your podcast, and I'm like, it's John Ralphio and Mona Lisa.
That's it. John Ralphio.
Classic. And it's a good character to just have he just pops out of nowhere. You're like, oh shoot, John Ralphio's here, and he doesn't just enter. He pops up.
Yeah.
Or comes in from.
He's very cartoony.
Absolutely, and Mona Lisa as well. You thought that John Ralphio's cartoony, then you meet Mona Lisa.
I honestly was like, oh, they have to really be related in real life. I honestly thought that.
People think that they are, I think, yeah. And she's popping off with A24 and the stuff that she's
he's also really great improviser.
He is. Have you watched Ben and Schwartz?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ben and Schwartz? Ben?
No,
Middleditch and Schwartz.
That's it, yeah. I knew what you meant.
Okay.
I have seen it.
Good. I thought
Again, more episodes. Give us some more episodes.
Yeah,
How hard is it to come up with something like that, honestly?
It's, you have to be, really good. You have to be with somebody that you trust, because it's also, an hour and just 2 people. And you're creating all of these characters, and you have to be able to, bring them back as well. So, that's what's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, do you want to do yours, or should I just...
You can do yours first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is a weird one, but for Tina Fey, I love Tina Fey. She's if there's anybody I look up to the most, it's her.
Yeah.
I put Muppets Most Wanted.
Okay.
Because she plays this Siberian Russian guard who's in love with Kermit the Frog, and she does this Russian accent that makes it got me into practicing accents and Russian accents, and it was also one of my first things as a kid watching her getting into who Tina Fey was as a person, and I'm like, whoa, that's so crazy. So,
okay,
yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that one. Did Jason Segel write that one?
Jason Segel was he in it? Jason Segel's in the first Muppets,
okay.
and Muppets Most Wanted is the second, but I don't think he's not in it.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the second one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so that's that one. Sisters, which is what they did together.
Yeah.
And I know I could have chosen Baby Mama, but for some reason I chose Sisters. Okay. I really like it. Usually, Tina plays the really meek nerdy one, and Amy plays the more outgoing one. But in Sisters, it's flipped. Tina's the one who doesn't have a job and this, and then Amy is the nurse who is really to the rule. So that's why I like Sisters. The first ever Sarah Palin and Hillary sketch that they did as a cold open, written by Seth Meyers. Yeah, that's my fourth. I really like it. Have you seen it? There are clips of it on YouTube.
Of the monologue or the
it's a cold open. Yeah, and it's about women in.
I feel like I have.
Yeah,
I've seen a few. Or a couple. They've done those characters for a bit, no?
They have, and it was the first time they ever did it.
So when would this?
I think together at least. It would have been. Oh my god! It was during the Sarah Palin.
Yeah. Okay.
Thing.
So I might have seen it though. I think I have. Okay. I'm gonna say yes.
Cool. I'm gonna accept that, and then I have 3 runners up. Okay. I don't have 3 runners up for all of it. I just because I like them a lot.
No, it's okay.
There's an In Conversation that they did with Netflix is a joke this year. Okay. And I watched it on YouTube, and it was probably recorded without any permission.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's probably gonna get taken down after I say this. But I really liked that In Conversation with them, and really understanding how their friendship that's spanned 30 years has really evolved and where they are now, and what they feel they want to share with the audience, and if something's you know what, that's something we don't need to share, then they don't, and I like that a lot. I respect that.
Okay.
There's one sketch where Amy Poehler is in her childhood bedroom, and Bon Jovi is on a poster And then Bon Jovi comes out and he's like, one day I'm going to be hosting and you're going to be on SNL. And I really liked that. It was a really wholesome sketch. And in 2011, Amy and Tina and Melissa McCarthy won the Primetime Emmy Award for Female in Comedy. And it was just Tina and Amy orchestrated this whole thing with when they read the names of the nominees, they all came up on stage, which normally you don't do.
Yeah.
And then they all like cheered each other on, and when Melissa McCarthy won, they all cheered, and then Amy and Tina like put like a tiara and a sash around her and like made her feel like a queen, like really. So I like that. That's like a good Amy Tina moment.
All right.
Yeah. That's my nerding out. Yeah, that's the most elaborate one. So
that's fine. I've had people like do 10.
Oh wow.
So it's
makes me feel better.
That's fine.
Okay.
I feel like yours are a little more detailed. Like my number 1 is just Saturday Night Live.
There you go. Yeah.
I just put that as like a blanket. I just think
good for you. Yeah.
Tina Fey's like just a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're a great duo. Saturday Night Live is where I discovered them, so that's my number 1. Mean Girls is my number 2.
Nice.
Then
nice.
I'm going Baby Mama.
Yes.
I actually really like Baby Mama.
I love
like
Baby Mama.
It's kind of like a little cheesy, but like it knows what it is.
Yes, agreed.
And yeah.
Also, Dax Shepard is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dax. He's come a long way though.
Yeah.
He's come a long way. I remember when he first, I just couldn't take him serious, and now he's like he's grown, and you can see it, and I can appreciate that.
Absolutely. Okay, good choice. I really like that one.
And then Wine Country.
Yes! Okay, cool.
And then Sisters.
That's fantastic. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love Wine Country.
Wine Country's just like Saturday Night Live.
Yes. Because it's
just,
Maya and Rachel, and it's everybody.
There's quite a few people from Saturday Night Live, like when Saturday Night Live was like, you know, at its peak, I think.
Yes. And also I like Paula Pell and how she's coming up in these as well. Not like coming up, but like when like Amy and Tina and like Dratch and stuff were on SNL, Paula Pell was a writer. And now like with Girls 5 Ever or Wine Country, we actually get to see her like act and perform. Just like an amazing like queer comedian as well. So yeah. Great. I like it.
All right, what do we want to do next? Let's do comedians.
Comedians? Okay. Mine, I'm just gonna list them off. It's Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, Rachel Dratch, Kristen Wiig, and and runner-up is Carol Burnett.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Out of those, I would for sure put, there's something that I just love about Maya Rudolph.
I know that you're gonna say that, yes.
Like she's just, I don't know. I honestly can't put my finger on it, but like out of like that whole crew, I just think she's the funniest.
What's your favorite like Maya Rudolph moment? Or like some of her, like obviously there's like Bronx Beat, like Sweater Weather. And there's so many like
Sweater Weather. Yeah.
Kamala Harris. There's like, oh my god.
So all those are good.
She has so much voice work.
There was something. I can't remember what movie it is right now, but she was like pregnant in it, and oh my god, I
Who was it with?
Man, it's really gonna bug me. Hold on.
It's okay.
I'm gonna look. I hate looking at my phone.
No.
Maybe I'll do
this
some.
Is when it comes to Maya, it's okay. I'm really good with, like I said, I'm good with dates, but not years, and I'm good with birthdays. But for some reason, Maya's is always iffy with me. But then Rudolph is 7 letters, so it's July 27th.
Oh, yo! Oddly enough, oddly enough, this is for sure what it is. Okay. Grown-ups.
Grown-ups.
I really think like she's to me like one of the best parts of like Grown-ups again.
Yes.
It's not a super. I love all. I'm like 75% of anything Adam Sandler has a part in or anything to do with, and her in Grown-Ups. What else was she in? Shoot.
Killer. She's a killer. She does so much. You wouldn't like expect. She voices like every cartoon mom. Like, obviously, Big Mouth. Do you watch Big Mouth?
Yes.
Okay, Big Mouth.
Yes, I forgot she was in Big Mouth.
Yeah, because she plays so many characters in Big Mouth, too.
Yeah, well, I feel like most of them play a couple, or voice a couple characters,
because you have, like, Nick Kroll who voiced, like, basically everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, man, like, when I think about it. Have you ever done any voice?
No, and I want to, but I do voices and stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do accents. Like, I'm not great at impressions, that's the thing. I could do, like, accents, I could do characters. But I'm, like, getting better at impressions. But I'm so bad. So bad. And, that's okay.
Yeah, it's
I'm
alright.
fine
No,
with
it's
it.
not everybody's thing.
Yeah. Or do you do anything like that?
Nah, not really. I have a couple accents that I can do.
There we go.
My lady hates my British accent, but I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
But no, it's not really my thing.
Okay, gotcha. That's okay. You could write jokes, which is like the biggest thing. Like if you can actually like apply it into like anything, that's important. Yeah.
It's just kind of like anything. It's like I'm a little envious of people that can do it, but I'm also the guy that's like, hey, I like stay in your lane, and I try not to compare myself to other people.
You just can't. You can't compare. You know?
It's so hard. I mean, it's a steep slope.
Yeah, and some people have voices that just lend themselves to others, so it's like it's interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. Did I go? No, you go now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle.
There we go.
And then I'm going Mark Forward.
Okay.
He's a Canadian guy from Oakville.
Neat.
Who's done like Letterkenny and Mr. D, whatever.
Cool. Okay.
George Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill Burr.
Okay, cool. I feel so. I'm so sorry. I only know Dave Chappelle from that list.
Okay.
Yeah. But
you don't know Joe Rogan?
No, I know I've heard.
Everyone knows Rogan just from the podcast, but
Yeah.
like, it's either you know him from the podcast or from like
I only
UFC.
know him from the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, my lady didn't even know that he did stand up when we started. We have been dating for when is this episode coming out? Around 4 years.
Okay.
Right?
Neat.
And so like that 4 years ago, she was kind of like learning about it too. But he's essentially what I like to like. Him and Dave Chappelle do tours together, and I've always been like, oh, he's just the white Dave Chappelle. But like again, he's a comedian. When I have his very first special he ever did on DVD. And when I watch that, and when I watch like the last one he released on Netflix, it's just like I love seeing growth in like the artists that I like, and just
and it's
I
nice
get
to know
bored.
that they're not doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my list.
Okay, cool.
Let's do Queen songs.
Queen songs. Okay.
Yeah.
Queen is my favorite band.
Favorite band.
Awesome.
Awesome.
At first semester of university, I listened to Queen's greatest hits every single morning.
Yeah.
I used to listen to, so my first one is Bohemian Rhapsody. I used to listen to that all the time in high school, and I know like it's like a frat boy song, but like I think it's a beautiful song. So Bohemian Rhapsody, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy.
Okay.
Killer Queen.
Yes.
Don't Stop Me Now.
Okay.
And then the last one is No One But You, or Only the Good Die Young, which
Only
is
the
like
Good Die
when
Young, yeah.
Freddie died. It was Brian May who wrote it, and it's like such a beautiful. It was
good too.
one of the only songs that like have really brought me to tears. Honestly, that's it. That's my.
All right. Okay, so I'm going. Another One Bites the Dust.
Oh, yes. Okay. Cool.
Killer Queen. We have a couple in common.
Good.
Killer Queen, and then I'm going. We Will Rock You.
Cool.
Again, I don't think it's like We Will Rock You is like. Who doesn't know that song? That's all I'm saying. Like, and in all honesty, like a lot of their songs, it's like, wait, you don't know that song? Like
it's
how
iconic. It's a good song to
they have
run
so
to.
many like just iconic songs.
Yes. Okay, that was a good one to run to. I like running too.
Oh, you run it. Oh, I don't
Well, when I used to run.
Yeah, when you used to run.
Now I only run when I'm chased. Like, genuinely. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
There we go.
And then Fat Bottom Girls.
Ah, yes, cool.
Yeah.
I love Fat Bottom Girls.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't like, come on. I mean, it's, and this is the thing, too. Like, obviously, I'm, like, 37. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of the music now, I'm not super into.
Yeah, me neither. I don't really listen to much, after 2000. How about you? I know it's kind of obnoxious to say.
It depends. Like, there's new artists that I listen to, but the
Yeah.
new artists that I listen to have, like, an old school mentality, so they don't make music like.
Anyone specifically?
Now, it depends what genre. I'm all over the place, but like rappers like Slane or like Vinnie Paz.
Okay.
Like I don't listen to a lot of top 40. Like, I don't know. Who else? That's new. NF. Do you know who NF is?
I don't.
He's like a new rapper. Only has like 3 or 4 albums out, and I don't know. As far as bands, now that I'm like kind of trying to come up with some, I'm realizing that I feel like most of the bands that I listen to, and this is also I went to like a metal show like a month ago.
Okay.
Static X and
cool.
Realized that like like me and my buddy are there in line, and like everyone's like older than us.
Oh no.
Just like, man, we're old, eh? Like I did, like sometimes it really hits you. Like I don't feel old at all, but sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, we are seeing a like 25-year-old, you know, a bunch of 25-year-old metal bands. Like, of course, this is like, who's listening to this kind of stuff?
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know. What do you like that's new? What is like anything?
I like Lil Nas X.
Pardon?
I
Lil
love
Nas X?
Lil Nas
All right.
X, yeah.
All right.
Saw him in concert.
The point I was trying to get at, when did you see him in concert?
October.
In Scotiabank?
It wasn't Scotiabank. They were supposed to do it at Rebel, and then they moved him to like the RBC concert place near Ontario Place. So it was outside. So I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, outside concert.
An outside concert, yeah. So it's a stuff. And I'm like, why did they move him here? But it ended up being fine. He was like amazing. So,
all right.
Yeah. It was the first time I ever went to a concert too.
That was your first concert?
It was my first concert, yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's good.
Do you plan on going to more? Did you had a good enough time?
I went to Lil Nas X, and then like either the week or 2 weeks after, I went to the Weekend.
All right.
And that was that was honestly like
that was the one that was like canceled at first.
Yes, because of the Rogers.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like fantastic, like genuinely fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome. Concert's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, the point I was trying to make with this is that like I like you don't always have to have like songs about things be super vulgar.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like a classy song about big bums, and I like that. You know?
Absolutely. And I think that like even
it doesn't pass the line. It's not.
Was the music video for like Bicycle Race like Bicycle
Races? I don't even know.
I think it's like got banned in a few countries because it was like ladies riding naked on their bikes or something.
Really? Like I don't even know if I've seen it.
And Fat Bottom Girls and Bicycle Race was like a 2. Like they released it as a double release or something like that. Yeah. If I remember that correctly. Or something. Yeah. Weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. I agree though. I absolutely agree. There's some really funny lyrics in there too, and you're like, yeah. Yeah,
like someone like Bacardi B just makes it nasty.
Bacardi B.
Bacardi B, whatever the hell her name is. See?
I love that so much.
Yes, the Bacardi B. Whatever, yo. Something that she had to have. Her name is definitely from Bacardi. She had some stupid shit where it's like, I like Bacardi, Cardi B. Like, you know, like that's has to be how she came up with the thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a very clever name, so. Hate on me, Bacardi B. That's what I'm calling her for the rest of life.
I'll be like Bud Light B or something. Like that's my next name or something. Yeah.
You ever get like lyrics wrong to a song?
Yes.
That you've been like singing for like years wrong, but you just still sing it that way anyway.
Like might as well, right?
That's how I feel. That's where I'm at with Bacardi B now.
Good.
I'm just calling her that.
It's a good laugh too. It's like, oh yeah, sure.
Totally meant to say that.
Yeah.
Superheroes. Do you want to do those?
Sure. And I went superheroes as well as like some comic characters that I enjoy.
Cool.
So number 1 is Doctor Strange.
Nice.
He's my favorite. I have like a whole shelf in my bookshelf that's like Doctor Strange pops and stuff.
Awesome.
Thor. I like Thor a lot, and I like his character arcs. Wanda Maximoff, especially now in the MCU, like they're doing her. Well, I mean, after the Multiverse of Madness, I don't know if she's doing like WandaVision. Really,
she's not going anywhere. I feel like she'll still be.
Absolutely, but I really liked. We'll go into that later. But I really liked WandaVision. There's this character named Emily Bright, who is not a character in the MCU yet, but she's a comic character and she's fairly new. And she has like Doctor Strange-esque powers, so she goes to Strange Academy, which is what the comics are called.
Gotcha.
And also, I really like Vision from the comics.
All right. Do you collect comics?
I collect some, but not all.
Are you digital? Do you like read any?
I do. A lot of them I've had to get digital, and it's easy. And even like the Mississauga Library, like I've been able to like get comics through there, and I've read like the Champions comics through there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I haven't been to.
I know that you're a big comic guy.
Out. Yeah, I am. Just behind this like wall divider, I have like a couple thousand, and I have a bunch that aren't. I'm weird about the ones I officially put in my collection.
Ooh.
So like these are like official. They're like labeled and they're super like organized. Like to and I have like quite a few that I need to like add. So. I feel like eventually, if I get some more boxes, you might be able to see them over the top.
Hey, okay.
But yeah, I'm a comic guy.
Okay, cool. Okay, how about you?
Okay, I'll go through mine quick because I do them every episode. Yeah. But Batman, the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, of course.
Then I'm going Red Hood.
Okay.
Arsenal.
Nice.
And then SpiderMan.
Okay, cool. That's a really. Do you have a favorite SpiderMan? Oh, like, and that could be any. It doesn't even need to be like the Garfield Toby. It could be like.
Oh, you mean like actor wise? I was thinking.
No, I mean you could do any. Like if you like that like pig version from.
Peter Porker.
Yeah, Porker.
Honestly, I'm a big Miles Morales guy. Like I have like his like first issues and stuff like that, and like I've been a fan of Miles for a long time. Right? And yeah, and I'm hoping that like with the Into the Spider-Verse movie coming out that we're gonna get. Because I've heard that a bunch of, like, actors that do live-action roles are, like, a part of this movie. Like, the Stork... Have you seen Venom? The Stork Clerk?
I think.
She's going to be in it. I heard that... I don't know. I just hear a bunch of live-action actors are going to be in this. So I'm thinking that there's going to be, like, a live-action sequence in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping we finally will get a live Miles Morales.
I would love to. And they've alluded to it in No Way Home, so...
Yeah, and I think it's like with... I know they're doing some more stuff with Tom Holland.
Yes.
And I think it's just... It's the logical progression after we lose Tom. It's just to focus on Miles.
Agreed. And he's a great character. I would love to, yeah.
And like, it honestly, like, Spider-Man and Batman... They're so interesting, and they have just... such a big rogues gallery and like the amount like the stuff that they could do with them. They've really only scratched the surface. They could like I want them to do Batman Beyond with Batman. That seems like something that they need to do and stop redoing Bruce Wayne. Like I don't get me wrong, I love Bruce, but I'm just like there's so much to play with and they're just playing with like this little bit right now and so
they could really crack it open in very many ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse has been a good start, though. It's really kind of...
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And it's visually beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I think it's one of the best, like, at least the first one is one of the best, like, animated movies ever.
It's really great. And it's weird because, like, up until that point, and I would still say DC makes better animated ones. Yeah. But, like, Marvel's just never really been known. And that one is just so... It'll be interesting to see where they go. They need to just do more with it and not just have Spider-Man. You know, you can do save money on a Silver Surfer thing and do a animated Silver Surfer. Man.
Yeah. I agree.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man though?
You know what? Like I like Tom. I really like Tom Holland. Yeah. And I think I like him because he's like quirky and he's like young and he's kind of like me. I'm like, yeah, Mr. Stark or whatever.
I was sad at the end of No Way Home though, man, when he's just
I really felt it. I was like, oh, his performance was fantastic in that.
Yeah. That was honestly, we'll do Marvel movies.
Yes, we will.
And I'm going to go first.
Okay.
No Way Home is my favorite.
Okay. Neat.
And it's not, I don't know if people would actually consider it MCU, but it doesn't matter. It's a Marvel movie.
I do, yeah.
And No Way Home, it was just... It's been a long time since I felt that way.
Were you hyped in the theater, like screaming, like?
I was loud, but I tend to be like really the only. I'm more of a DC guy, but I do love a lot of Marvel. Like it's not like got a shitload of Marvel in there. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like up until that point, like Marvel movies were kind of like falling flat for me, and just kind of like just getting a little repetitive, and it's just so nice to. See them perfectly blend like all these different like it was I would say like as far as superhero movies like it was basically perfect.
Yeah.
You know there's quite a few that I consider perfect and that was up there. That has to be my number one.
Yes.
And honestly I'm weird about like group like the Avengers and stuff like that. Like obviously I've watched them and stuff but like I find it's hard to really bring in like
a lot of
like 10 main characters into one movie and actually have like a story told about all of them.
Yeah.
You know? So I think this is like it was just done perfect. It told a little bit of Toby's story. It told a lot of Tom's story. It told a lot of Garfield's story. He got to clean up some stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah. And so, yeah. Beautifully done. Number one.
Completely agree. Perfect. Great first choice. Okay.
I cheated a little bit.
It's okay.
Admittedly. Number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
There we go. Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine.
Yeah, up until No Way Home, like Guardians is like I'm just really excited for the new one.
Same here. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's like the best thing they got going on.
Agreed.
And then I don't know if you've seen the new one, But I also cheated for the third.
I've seen everything, I think, up to this point.
No, have you seen the new Ant-Man?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you have?
Yes, I have.
Awesome.
What did you think of it?
I liked it.
Okay.
And it's something about Ant-Man, and I really liked
Paul
about...
Rudd, man. Something about Paul... Like, for him, I don't know if any other, guy did it, if it would be the same if... Paul Rudd.
He's another person that's just come such a long way from the guy who played the boyfriend on Friends,
yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with Ant-Man, again, what I was kind of saying about group movies, I really liked the new one because it was just kind of we're going into this world and it's just us. It's an Ant-Man story, but
yes.
there's a chunk of it that's going to be used, but it stands. You don't really need to know a lot going into it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? If you just watch the first Ant-Man and the second even the second Ant-Man, I feel like you might not even...
You don't really need to know about, the Infinity War, Endgame.
Yeah, and that's what I like. That's the problem with, all these, movies, is it's hard to kind of... someone just getting into it now. Yeah. It's intimidating, There's shows, I haven't watched, because it's there's 10 seasons. I don't know. But yeah, so... Ant-Man Trilogy is my number 3.
Neat.
Then I'm going Deadpool.
Yes.
And then I'm going Avengers Infinity War.
There we go. Are you Infinity War over Endgame?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I agree. Yeah. That's a good choice.
And it's also, again, it's just... I didn't expect it. I like that. I feel like I can predict a lot. And that's not always bad. Titanic will always be a great movie. Even though you know it's going to happen.
Kind of predict the ending. They tried to meh, but yeah. No, I'm just joking.
Did you see it in theaters?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I was afraid of Titanic when it came out because I was such an anxious kid.
Oh, not even Titanic. I mean Infinity War.
No!
You didn't?
It was before I was a fan, and I watched Endgame in theaters before I was a fan too. Okay. And so I knew... So after I became an actual fan, I was like, man, I wish I could have watched it.
So did you have to go back and start? Have you seen them all?
I've seen them all. All 24, 25, whatever it is now. All the TV shows.
All right.
Everything, yeah.
All right, I dig it.
Yeah. Those are really, really great choices.
Yeah. Neat. What about you?
Okay. Number 1, Thor Ragnarok. That's top for me. Yeah. It's my birthday movie. That's one I'll watch on my birthday because it's so fun. It's inventive. It does humor in a different way. It also saved Thor as a character.
It did. It really did, right? Yeah, the comedic take for sure.
Completely. Also Chris Hemsworth is very funny. Yeah, in my opinion. He's not just a good guy. He's actually really funny.
Was he the one who was dating Miley Cyrus?
No, that's the other one.
That's the other one. Okay. Liam. Boo.
Then the first Doctor Strange. But I really did. I liked elements of the second one. I like Doctor Strange as a character and his character things. Mm-hmm. There were things I would have changed about the second one, but the first one will always be something that really it got me into Benedict Cumberbatch and kind of introed me into British kind of television as well. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, hold on. So was that your connection to Doctor Who? Wasn't he? He was Doctor Who at one point, wasn't he?
No, Benedict never was.
Oh shoot.
But it was a whole roundabout way to get because Doctor Who was my newest thing. But I really enjoyed it.
I must seem so stupid. He was Doctor Who, right?
No, you're fine. It's because he's British. He was a lot of other characters that British people play sometimes, like Shakespearean stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Doctor Strange, WandaVision, Jessica Jones. And Agent Carter as well, which is one of those. Carter. Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
It was an ABC show. It was one of those guys. It's same as S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. And I thought it was really well done. I really
liked. What did you think of She-Hulk?
I think people hate it for the wrong reasons.
I like it.
I like it too. I think that Tatiana Maslany is we should be lucky that we have her in the MCU, and it's getting hate, but I think people hate it for the wrong reasons because they wanted it to feel like a lawyer sitcom, but it was shot like a drama. So I'm okay, well, obviously you're not going to get the same, timing and stuff that you have from a comedic character, but she is fantastic. I adore her, and I'm really excited for when she's going to come back. Yeah.
That was something, I'm going to be honest, I really was surprised at how much I liked.
Yeah.
Again, fresh take, kind of fresh, I don't know, it was one of my favorite Marvel shows, I'll say that for sure.
And the ending episodes were flipping fantastic.
Amazing. And the last episode was just so out there. That's what I love. And that's kind of and I don't pay attention to hate because I'm like a DC guy.
Yeah.
You know, but that's kind of what I like about DC is that I feel like they take a little more risks with their stuff. Agreed. Yeah. And it's less predictable, and that's what I liked about Infinity War. That's what I liked about She-Hulk. Like I don't know, man. She-Hulk was great. I'm looking forward to season 2.
Agreed. I'm excited for her to come back in just like anything MCU, like Tatiana Maslany. I'm really, really excited. Cool. Those are my 5.
All right. What do we have left? Do we have anything left?
We did Tina and Amy superheroes. Yeah, we did everything.
We did everything.
That was it.
That's it. All right. Well, I guess we can take one of these then. You pick one first.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna like. Bleh. There we go. My chance of fate.
Right.
Oh, I'm so interested in hearing yours for
Let's
this.
see. Oh, no, I don't want that one. Okay. We can do this.
Okay. So, should I go first or should you?
You can go first.
Okay. So I know that you have 2 cats and 1 dog.
Mm-hmm.
How important have pets or other animals been in your life? And that could be like now, could be throughout your life. What do you think?
Oh, so important. I am like, you met Artie when you came.
I gave him a kiss, and he was like, hello?
He's the sweetest. Like, I mean, I've had quite a few cats and a couple dogs before now, the ones that I have now. And, like, Artie, first of all, super important. Mm-hmm. I've always had some animal in my life.
That's great. That's fantastic.
And, like, Artie... Especially, he's 12 now.
Wow.
I tear up just like thinking about anything bad. Like I know he's not gonna live forever, and like when I broke up with my ex, and like I was like home alone, I had to like find another roommate before, and like I just like that like month or 2 before I got a roommate, where it was just like it was literally just me and him. Yeah. And I didn't have like a couch or anything yet, like because. You know, we split things, and she had a daughter, and like I was just. Anyways, I would just come home, and I get him like a different toy like every day, and it was just like this special. And even before then, man, like honestly, he is actually like my ex brought him into my life. Gotcha. Okay. And when we were splitting up, we had got another cat together. Okay. And when we were splitting up, it was like I'm taking Art. Like we just did you guys split the really cats? Hard. Yeah. Yeah. It's really hard to explain, but like there is legitimately some special bond between me and Artie. Like where he just stands out of like the pack, you know, out of all the animals. And he just like gets like because with my dog, it's like this thing where she doesn't talk, but like she knows what I am thinking and feeling on the inside, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we communicate super snuggly too. I feel like I can't have a pet that I can't snuggle, like fish or like just some. You know, I get it, they're beautiful and stuff, but I want to be able to like snuggle my animals. He's a very social cat. Like literally came up to me, I gave him a kiss. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, he's awesome. You're a pet person though. How have they played a role in your life? Funny enough, my parents were one of those parents that were like, we'll get to that one eventually. Yeah. Never wanted pets, was very a hard no about it, and just during the pandemic, I think we were just like, my dog's a pandemic dog, but it was just yeah, okay, that's sweet, because it's just like it was such an isolating time. We didn't know like what was happening, and there was a lot of like feelings that were coming out, either like people saying stuff like outside of the family or like within, and my sister and I were just like once everything like kind of smooths over a little bit, like I think a good way to celebrate like life in a way is to like get a dog, and it was like a way for me to get out of the house more and like have something to take care of, and she is like the thing that like I had to leave her at home to like come here, and she was like, she has separation anxiety because we baby her too much, but it was like she's like literally my child, like my baby that I want to like. I just, yeah, same with Chester, like my dog. Definitely separation anxiety. It's just a product of, you know, when we got them, I think. Yeah. That's all it is. We're just home all the time. Absolutely. And then all of a sudden we're leaving, and they're like, hey, but what? I get it. Yeah. I like taking her, like, out to places and seeing how she, like, navigates new things. Like, she saw Niagara Falls during the weekend we were supposed to shoot this, like, during the Easter weekend. Yeah, yeah. And seeing, like, a dog comprehend what Niagara Falls was
so intriguing. Like, it was like, because I held her up, because she's a small dog, so I held her up, and I was like, look, and she, like, freaked out. She, like, took us, like, she was like, whoa, because it's like, how do you even, like, comprehend that as like, a dog, what Niagara Falls is, you know? I don't know.
I love Niagara Falls.
Let's get this one.
All right. How do you like to enjoy the outdoors?
That's so good. I walked here today, and I was like, what a nice way to, like, intro into, like, feeling good coming into this. I was always, like, a winter person, because my birthday is in December.
Really?
Yeah, what's your birthday?
January.
January what?
22nd.
22nd? My sister's 29th. I'm December 19th.
Okay.
So I always liked the snow and, like, what that brought, and, like, especially during Christmas time when, like, I like the atmosphere of, like, Christmas music and then the snow coming down. Like, it was always very cozy. But something about this weather, like, when it's, like, really nice and really bright and, like, a little warm, maybe not, like, hell hot, but, like, nice.
Yeah.
And so you can, like, go outside and you can sit and, like, there's something about eating outside. Like, taking your food just, like, outside and just eating it, like, I don't know, like, on the porch or, like, on your deck if you have one, like, is really quite, I don't know, zen.
Or even, like, a picnic, you know?
Yeah, or a picnic, yeah. In the park with people, like, or eating ice cream, like, with friends outside, There's something about that. I don't know what it is, because so much of our eating is, like, behind a table, and then you can do it outside, and you're like, wow.
How do you feel about camping?
I'm more of a glamper, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I hate bugs, like mosquito. Like, I will scream if there's, like, literally I was afraid of, like, an earwig or something, like, going this, like, on the ground, and I was gonna scream and, like, ruin everything or something.
Oh, no. Haven't seen any insects at this new place yet.
Okay, good.
Couple spiders, but I feel like that's, you know, everywhere.
That's a given, yeah. But I like fire, like, campfires and stuff, and, like, mostly, like, camping nights, but more glamping nights, because, like, having to sleep in a tent is hard for me. How about you?
Yeah. Well, to do with camping, I don't like camping. I used to when I was younger, and then I was homeless.
I understand, yeah.
And then it's like, I don't know. There's nothing appealing about pretending to be homeless when you've actually been homeless. I don't know. Yeah. It's just, I've been since, but, like, also, like, things have happened. Like, it rained, and then, like, tents full of, like, 6 inches of water. Everything that was on the ground is ruined. You know? And it's like, I don't know. It's just a couple bad camping trips towards the end of, or the last couple times I've been camping that kind of completely ruined it for me.
Yeah. Also, I'm Guyanese, and I heard that your foster brother was Guyanese and your foster dad was Jamaican. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I had one Guyanese foster brother, a couple Jamaican.
Cool.
Foster dad was, well, like, I had Winston, a couple different, Winston, amazing.
I did my research and made sure.
Awesome, yeah. And, like, I had a couple different foster parents throughout my life, but he's always the one that I consider my foster dad. That's amazing that you remember his name.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know, as far as me and, like, outdoors, like, right now, just got nicer. I'm more of a summer guy.
Nice. Sweet.
Just set up some patio furniture in the back.
Good for you, yeah.
So, we actually have a nice backyard. Maybe do some sort of gardening. But really, like, it's just about my dog. That's, like, really what I do when I'm, like, outside.
Like, walking your dog?
Yeah.
We probably walk our dogs along the same trails. Like, I know you were talking to Abby, Pomani.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And you were talking about, like, put the Christ back in Christmas sign, and I was like, I walked by that same sign. I understand.
Yo, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because just recently I noticed that Abby's episode on YouTube, it was, like, cut short. Something happened. What? It's weird. Like, someone sent me a message, and I was like, I looked into it, and it's like, that's weird. Like, the audio version is the full thing. It has the outro and all that kind of stuff. And then the one on YouTube, it's like we're talking about TV shows, and then it just stops, and I don't know exactly what happened. It's just, I've had some problems with uploading things to YouTube, and you probably know the internet is not the best up here. I feel like it's weird. It's usually, like, where I was before was amazing. I'm the same company, but I'm in a different area, and they say there's, like, less tower. I don't know exactly what the fuck the deal is, but
it wasn't like a copyright
something
issue.
Is like no. Yeah. And then I also noticed the Instagram's been like changing some things, and I noticed one of my clips got cut short too.
Weird. That's so odd.
I hate it. Like I have like mild OCD.
Yeah.
And when things like I almost debated like deleting like Abby's episode off of YouTube and just like re-uploading it another day. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I already have so many views.
I know you lose all of that. The algorithm changes or whatever. I don't know if that's true.
So it's just like I don't know if it is, but it's like it's something to consider, and I'm like not really wanting to risk doing that.
Yeah, I completely understand. Hopefully the world gets to see that at some point, but yeah.
Oh, you can still hear it. You can hear it. It's on iTunes or whatever.
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Spotify, it's also on. What do you usually watch?
Apple Podcasts.
That's what
Yeah, because I have an Apple phone, so might as well.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one?
My next one?
Yeah.
Oh, we do both. Okay, sweet. Okay, ready? Imagine a world where you can have any job. Like, any job in the world, what would you choose?
Comedian.
Yeah, right?
That would be it. Like... also, though, I really enjoy reffing.
Cool. Is that if it was... Because you do ref, though.
Yeah.
You do,
yeah. I did, this cool, party, last weekend, I think it was. What was Easter weekend? It was that weekend.
Okay.
And I did it, Saturday, late Saturday night.
Where was it?
It was, Bloor and something. It was, right outside Dundas West Station.
Okay.
Bloor Street Fitness.
Neat.
And it was, the guy who... It was, some dude who worked for TikTok. He was, the sports person, something to do with sports and TikTok. He's, a big deal. Had shitload of money to burn. I mean a lot. It was open bar. He had, food, just, tables of food for people to just take.
Okay, wow.
He was, loaded. There was, musician Lights? A Canadian musician Lights?
I think I've heard of them.
Okay. Well, she was there, and, there was just, I don't know. People that are self-important people. I don't know how else to put it.
People with money to burn.
It was just... I did, a 5-minute match. I kind of, just enjoy doing the reffing as well. And I would love to do that as well. But a comedy would for sure be my main thing. Reffing's back burner. Comedy's front burner.
Yeah. Do you see yourself going to a Netflix special? Do you want your own sitcom? What do you see yourself I know that's an awful question, but
No, I
awful questions and oh shoot, now I have to think about it. But it's what do you think? I don't know.
I feel I don't know if I'm the kind of... I don't know if I would be able to make it as an actor, just how I look. I don't know. People have argued with me.
You have a look, everybody has their own look, right? And it's how do you use that? I cut you off though.
No, it's okay. You're totally right. I've done the same to you throughout this however long we've been filming, so it's totally fine.
3 days, probably.
Yeah, I feel I would do more voice stuff.
Neat.
When it comes to acting.
Voiceovers, cartoons?
Yeah, but cartoons, even video games.
Neat, okay.
Just commercials, whatever. I feel that would be more... But, again, this is not something I really like. It's comedy, it's reffing. I did go to school to be a chef, so that's my 9 to 5.
Neat, okay.
But since comedy, I've been slowly hoping to replace that.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the road. Yeah, just touring, just going and doing... I still haven't headlined... Oh, well, I kind of co-headlined the Versus show. Have you done those yet?
I've heard of it. I've heard of Versus comedy, yes.
Yeah, and I went against Rebecca McDonald.
Ooh,
and she's a musical comedian.
Okay.
Does,
that's so cool.
Comedy.
I love musical.
Yeah, but it sucked because she's just... Yo... Does just... She had so much more going on than me. I don't... they don't vote or anything, but if I was saying... I'd say I probably lost. I was also frustrated because I never actually got to do my last joke.
Yeah.
We were the headlining act. Mm-hmm. And I never got to do my last joke.
Against his Versus, right?
Right.
It's hard to compare a musical comedian to a not musical comedian. You have to do a musical and musical because that's
right. That's how I felt.
Right?
I was this ain't right. Yeah. We're supposed to be doing dirty shit, and her material was dirty, and she was hilarious.
Good.
But I just felt we were mismatched, and I didn't get to do my funniest fucking joke. And that was a bummer. But
it's okay.
I do
Hopefully they bring you back.
Pardon?
Hopefully they bring you back.
Oh yeah. What's his name? Russell. I can't remember his name right now. I'm drawing a blank.
Not Russell Peters.
No, Patrick Russell.
Ooh,
that might be his name.
Okay.
Just hit him up, man. If you want to do it, it's really fun.
Cool.
You know, it's a good time. There's not a lot of pressure. Also, it's in the cab room at SoCap.
Nice. Love.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Cool.
Did I?
Did
I answer the question?
Yeah.
You're gonna. What would be your answer?
So okay, I like if we're talking like my dream job, it's definitely like writer, actor, comedian. Like what I'm like almost to the point of like me writing my own TV show and like producing my own like comedy TV sitcom or comedy movie. Like honestly,
you're a sitcom person. You like sitcoms?
I like sitcom and like the way that like Parks and Rec does it, or like and. Like, I don't want to compare myself or, like, I want to be the next Tina Fey, but I think, like, I take a lot of inspiration from her. Like, honestly, SNL is my dream job. If I could, like, ever get on SNL, that's, like, Okay. I know that you're not supposed to want it, but, like...
Why not?
I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Like, I really could see myself, like, being there. And
I could see that.
Thank you.
I could see that, too.
Yeah, so that's, like, my dream job.
Okay.
But if you're thinking of, like, something that's not, like, acting or, like, comedy... like you have like reffing, which is a bit theatrical. Like reffing is.
There's definitely a part to it, right? Yeah. Like there's things that I do. Actually, a ref plays a bigger role than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even at the party, right? Like.
Did you need certification for it?
No, but I do know like first aid and a bunch of that shit too. But I didn't have. It's not like. Like I needed it. I just thought it would. You know, I have it from also going to like culinary school and stuff like that. So it helps.
Neat. Yeah, but if it wasn't that, I mean, like, I thought I was going to be a doctor, like, full up. Yeah. And not even just, like, in the way that your brown parents, like, I genuinely actually was, like, volunteering at the hospital and, like, really wanted to be a doctor. And then I was, like, it was, like, after I had gone through, like, my Tourettes in, like, high school, I was, like, I need to maybe, like, not, and also I was not good at chemistry. Yeah, just wasn't good at chemistry, and I was, like, okay, so that's fine.
Parents seem really supportive, though.
They are.
It was nice seeing them come out.
That was the first time that my mom came out to see my stand-up. And I came out to her through my stand-up from Gay AF Comedy, because she was like, why are you showing everybody but me your comedy? And I'm like, because it's a show called Gay AF. And then I came out, and then, so when I got to do, like, stand-up in front of her, it was the first time I was, like, telling those jokes and stuff. It was at your show. And it was really, really nice that you, like, allowed them, and they sat right in front. And
they were awesome.
Yeah, they were very sweet.
I love them.
They're very supportive. I feel very, very lucky to have them. Cool. What's the next one on
All right. Last one. Okay. What do you do for fun? What do you like about it? All right, let's say outside of, like the stuff we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what do I do for fun?
Do you play board games? Do you like board games? Do you like to hike? You know, like what else are you into?
It's so funny. Okay, let's see. I'm thinking of stuff that's not like my writing or my comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like walking my dog. I love walking my dog and like running with her. I don't know why this is a hard question, because it's really not.
Do you think
I play Mario Kart really well.
What one?
It's funny because the Wii version was always my favorite, and I'd always do really well on it.
Yeah.
And then now with the Switch, Mario Kart 8 is like I'm very, very good at it.
You can still. I haven't played the Switch. Like,
you haven't ever. I know you have like those guys, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But I have like the new Xbox, and I definitely am thinking about getting Switch, especially. With my daughter, I'm like, oh, there's a lot more family friendly games.
There are, yes.
But Mario Kart is always like, you can still like steer a little bit with the sticks,
not
the
as well as
or whatever they
not
call
as
them,
well
right?
as like on the Wii. The Wii you could like really, and I don't like doing. Like for me on the Switch, it's a completely different game. It's like you're drifting more. You're using the Joy-Con instead of like doing this for me.
Yeah.
So but I don't think that you cannot do this. It's
Mario Kart's classic.
Yeah, absolutely classic.
All right.
Well, how about you?
I don't know. I play video games. I read comics. You know, I'm really into music. But I feel like I'm at like a point in my life where I'm really trying to combine. Like I work just to pay the bills for so long. Yeah. And I just want to be able to, and I'm really like where I'm at right now. I do enjoy my 9 to 5. Obviously, some days are more stressful than others, but honestly, some comedy shows are more stressful than others. So it's not like, anything too crazy. But I'm just trying to make a living doing what I love and doing the things that I find fun now.
Absolutely.
You know, so probably like you, there's a lot like that where it's just like, well, all the things I do for fun are like things that I'm trying to pursue as like a money-making thing in the future.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I think, like, especially at my age, it's like, oh, you have to hustle and you have to work hard. And, like, people who are on SNL have, like, been doing Second City for, like, 7 years before they were even considered. And I'm like, okay, like, I still want to make sure I'm getting enjoyment. And also doing things that aren't just comedy to figure out who I am outside of, like, my work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because now the thing that I used to do for fun is now becoming my work. So I'm like, yeah, how do you differentiate, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who say, like, don't even try to make, you know, money off of, like, your hobbies and things like that. But I don't know.
We've done it. Like,
I disagree.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you're really passionate about it, it seems like the only logical thing to do.
Yeah, people have Etsy stores for, like, their crocheting and stuff. Like,
yeah. The traditional 9-to-5 thing is so... It's like an old school way of thinking, you know?
It is. And the thing is, like, people went into 9-to-5 for stability, and now you're seeing people getting, like, laid off in big jobs, and you're like, okay, so then where's the stability that you were promised, you know?
Right. That's, like, the big... Like all these nurses that got laid off for whatever reason, that helped a bunch of people during the pandemic get laid off, and then it's like, oh, Ontario needs doctors and nurses, and it's like, good luck, yo. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we can get out of here, though.
Yeah, what a beautiful note to end on.
Yeah. We can end on a better note.
Yeah.
The weather's real nice.
Yeah,
outside.
the weather is real nice, yeah. I took my dog on a walk and I tried not to get her to, like, die because she's a black dog, so she absorbs heat. What's nice is that sometimes she, like, she just knows what shade is, so she'll go and hide under some shade under a tree, and that's also really, like, wholesome and nice.
All right, this is what we're going to end on, okay?
Yeah. I was like, we're not going to end on that.
No, we can't end on nice weather.
No, we cannot.
Okay, tell me, like, I can see that you're passionate about comedy and that you love it, but what's, like, one pet peeve that you have about it?
Ooh, okay. That's a good question. One pet peeve about comedy, I mean, like, if it's for my own personal, like, comedy, it might be, like, when I stutter or mess up, like, that thing that we were talking about, like, when you don't, like, quite land it.
Okay.
Also, and this might be, like, so terrible, but, like, I open mics, it's not, like, obviously it's not a pet peeve. These are not, like, pet peeves.
No, but I feel like...
I find open mics really challenging.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, if I'm booked on your show, at least I know you, and I'm like, okay, I was asked to be here for a reason. Whereas, like, I am most likely gonna mess up in an open mic. The only time I've really, like, bombed, like, got my jokes in the wrong order, said one joke, and I was like, shoot, I didn't set it up here, was, like, doing an open mic, and it was the worst. I literally cried, like, it's like, about it for, like, the whole week afterwards.
Yeah, and you're doing it for, like, your peers, other comedians.
Yeah, who's
possibly, like, other people that are gonna book you, you know, and
And either it's, like, comedians that, like, want their thing to be funnier, so they're not, like, laughing as much, or, like...
Yeah.
Or it's, like, 7 people in the audience, and you're like, how do you perform to, like... I mean, you can make 7 people laugh, but it's, like, hard.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Okay, I am just gonna say, like... I feel like my biggest thing is that I wish there was more... Are you part of, like, any of the Toronto stand-up community groups on Facebook or anything like that?
I think I am now.
Like, I feel like there's all this, like... I wish that it was more of a community and less of people trying to compete with each other. Like, I said earlier, like, I'm a stay in my lane kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And, like, I just wish... Instead of just saying, oh, this community, people treated it like a community and kind of just like were nicer to each other and helped each other more and weren't just always looking out for their best interests. Like, obviously, everyone is looking out for their best interests, but I mean...
Yeah,
I think can look out for your best interest without...
being a prick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
For me, like, I'm part of, like... I'm definitely part of the queer... comedians groups and stuff, and that because it's already such a community that, like, I suggest just being gay and doing that. I think that's where you gotta that's what you gotta do. And then join that group. There you go. Yeah, like, because there's the support there, like, people posting their shows, and, like, Is it a lot of people, like, asking, hey, can I be on your show? Or is it, like, people posting about shows and, like, hey, come on if you want? Because the latter is what the queer comedians group is like. It's like, oh, Rob Watson is doing gay AF, and these are who's on it, and if you want to come. Like, that's what that's like, yeah.
I find, like, well, from what I hear, like, different areas are different. Like, New York's more supportive, and, like,
interesting.
Montreal is as well, and it's just, like, I don't know. I try when people are on my show, I try to, like, you know, post things about them, and I just, that's what I have this podcast for. That's why I enjoy having people like you on, is because I'm not some, like, leader or anything. I just believe in the community aspect of what we're doing as well, and I believe in surrounding myself with nice people.
Yeah, and thank you for creating a platform, because, like, for me, this feels like a platform, and, like, getting to know comedians. Yeah, and,
we're
like,
growing. I think I just hit over, like, 500 subscribers.
Hey, congratulations! That's
so
fantastic.
That's good.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm halfway to getting monetized on YouTube.
Oh, there we go.
So hopefully, you know, that's a step in the right direction. But,
it is.
Yeah.
Good. I'm so glad to be here, genuinely. It's
Thank
such
you
an honor.
so much.
Like, I will keep saying it's such an honor.
You know, it's an honor to have you, Shaharah. I feel like you got a lot of good things going for you.
Thank you.
And you're young.
I'm trying my best.
And yeah, man, just keep at it, you know?
Cool. I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, all right.
When
are you done York?
I think I graduate 2025.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When did you start? What was that, 4-year program?
It's a 4-year program. I went to a different school at first because I thought I was going to be a psychologist.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I'm sad and I'm not going to do that. So I changed into theater.
I'm sad.
No. It was really, I think that's why my mom is so supportive now. She's like, you're not going around the house, like, depressed anymore. So
Aw, that's awesome.
It's very sweet, yeah. As you were saying to the camera.
No, I was going to say, just let them know where to get at you.
Okay.
And follow you on the socials and stuff.
Cool. So on Instagram, that's, like, the biggest one for me. It's a Huck King Hilarious. So it's 2 Ks, so Huck King Hilarious.
Yeah, like fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then the Harz Gaz on Twitter. Mostly I just like and retweet things. And I don't have a website. Yeah, Instagram is, like, the biggest one for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Again, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Maybe we should have our dogs meet one day because we live so close. That would be awesome.
Dog meetup. I'm always down for babysitting if you ever need it. Yeah, please. Like,
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Whatever you need. Like, let me know if you need anything. Just let me know.
You're sweet. Yeah. I appreciate that.
And it's on record now, so you can hold me to it. The receipts.
I'm just gonna send you this clip. Remember when you said this?
Yeah. I'll be like, sorry, I can't today. Remember?
All right, guys. Like always, this podcast is brought to you by Neon Light District. Hit them up. Use code PillowTalk to save 10%. And by The Great North Apparel. Hit them up. Use code PillowTalk to save 30%. I will see you in 2 weeks, guys. Peace the fuck out.